Welcome to the Value Exchange podcast. Join me as we ditch the small talk and superficial conversations and enter a space where intentional dialogue takes centre stage. From mental health to relationships, careers and beyond. We're here to dive deep into topics which dominate our everyday lives, one conversation at a time. If you're ready to feel inspired, gain new perspectives and uncover invaluable insights, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. So, welcome to episode 2 of the Value Exchange podcast. Today I'm joined by Sarah Louise Gustafsson, the founder of a.ur.tistic, a creative wellbeing business. She's also the host of The Inside Job. She is a teacher, an artist and an entrepreneur. And I just wanted to start by saying thank you for coming down and having this conversation with me today. Come all the way from Liverpool, so I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. I'm excited to be here.
And before we kind of jump into stuff, can you just introduce yourself and what you do?
So I think you've said a lot there. I've got my own creative wellbeing business. It's called a.ur.tistic. It's called that because I'm an artist, but I'm autistic, and it's dead scouse. Are you autistic?
I remember you saying that.
It's so scouse, and I love it. It's like you're asking a question when you say it. But yeah, I work with all ages. I teach mental health through my own experiences of life. Because even though I've got a master's degree in fine art and my PGCE, I think your life experience is the main teacher, isn't it? So yeah, all my materials are taught through my life experiences and art and creativity, and they're about people. And yeah, I work with loads of different types of people, but I really love my job.
Nice, I'm sure we'll get into that. And I think lived experience is probably one of the best ways to teach.
Yeah.
Because I think it means more and it has a bigger impact when you're speaking about kind of the stuff you've been through.
Yeah.
Where do we need to start to understand your passion for helping other people's mental health using creativity?
So we going about like my story type thing of why I got involved in.
Why are you passionate about helping people with their mental health using that creativity?
So I've got ADHD and autism, and I wasn't diagnosed till I was 24. But prior to that, because I didn't have a diagnosis, I developed a lot of unhealthy coping strategies, from even alcoholism to OCD. I've got all these letters after my name, haven't I? OCD, ADHD. And from that, like, I had depression, anxiety. There was so many things going on, like suicide, self-harm, eating disorders. So I knew how difficult it was to be in these really bad situations, and I felt like it couldn't have been for nothing. I needed something to get myself out of this. So I started to learn loads of techniques from Buddhist monasteries, and I wouldn't understand why these Buddhas they've got no hair and everything and they're dead happy. I was like, why are you that happy? This is what my mindset was like. And I learned loads of techniques from mindfulness and put loads of things together. Started chairing support groups for ADHD, and I got my PGCE, and then started to write my own materials. So I just blew from that, because I never wanted anyone else to feel like I had. I never wanted anyone to feel that alone with the thoughts and, how they were feeling. So
yeah, love that. And I guess, you said when you was experiencing it and feeling it, you was like, can't be for nothing. Almost like you found that was your purpose, and that leads perfectly into the next question, because obviously we met back in November. It was only briefly, but I mentioned the podcast before it was even a thing, and I was like, will you be a guest?
Yeah.
And I've been excited to do it. One of the kind of main messages that I took away, or a phrase that I remember you using, was using your pain for power.
yeah.
What does this phrase mean to you?
It means that when you're in a really bad situation in your life and you feel like there's no way out, it's really teaching you something. And sometimes we've got two different mindsets, haven't we? And we could have a mindset of, why is this happening to me? Like, why me? And that is quite normal for people to think like that, but it's not really helpful. So I try and think of, what is this teaching me? What am I learning from this? What can I do with this? And don't get me wrong, you've got to feel everything when you're in it, and it's all valid, and it's not nice, and you've got to talk, and you've got to reach out, and it's so serious. But just hold on to knowing that it might be for something, because you might stop somebody else from ever experiencing them feelings or being that bad based on this experience, what you're going through. And I think that's my main message for everything I ever do, is to be humble and remember that, you know, mental health's got no age. It doesn't care how rich you are. It doesn't care what gender you are. It doesn't care. If it comes for you, it comes. And I think we've all got to be open to the fact that, you know, we've got to be kinder, haven't we, and help each other and pull each other out of these places. So that's what my main thing is, yeah.
Nice. And it seems like you're really open about mental health. Obviously, you talk about healthy coping strategies, and that's something we spoke about in the last episode. You actually got a shout out. I was like, yeah, my next guest, this is hopefully something we're going to speak about. So what I want to know is, like, since founding a.ur.tistic, how have like mental health conversations changed in your personal life?
How have they changed? For me, I've always been really open. Like, okay. I'm not really. I think I got to a place where it was that bad that there was nothing left for me to care about. Does that make sense? Where, you know, if you want to take your own life, what's left? And it was that bad. So I think I had to speak. I was like forced to. But I think the main problem with people now is that loads of people are talking, but there's no help. And if there's help, there's no conscious help. So medical doctors can help, you know, organs, the body in that way, but the brain's the only organ with a conscience. And we're not really going in and going deep, and we don't really know what to do with that. And it's more lonely, isn't it, when you open up and speak, and then there's nothing there
for the support.
But I think the knowingness in others that they're going through things too, and that you're not on your own, the knowingness that it won't last, nothing lasts, and these type of things, I think really helps. I do feel like lads are starting to talk a bit more.
I would say it is moving in that direction.
We're more aware, aren't we?
Yeah.
You know, I recently lost someone to suicide myself, so last April, an ex-partner, and it's obviously soul destroying, isn't it? I didn't mean to spring that out there, but like, I think that we're really starting to understand that men need this more now and check in a bit more. I think I'd like to think that's starting to be a massive change.
Yeah, I would definitely say it's moving in that direction. But don't apologise for sharing that. Like, it's real.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
it's honest, and that's kind of why we've set the podcast up. We want to speak about stuff like that. So thank you for sharing it.
It's interesting that you said the pain to power thing, because my next venture is fueled by him, if that makes sense. So it's like, sometimes you've got to take your situations and you've really got to run with them and use them to change and to be better. I believe that him passing away will save so many other men's lives, and it's a way I can cope with and live with it.
Yeah,
in a way.
You can put that energy into something positive. And I guess there's quite a few charities that have done something similar, so I don't know if you've heard of Andy's Man Club.
I haven't.
Yeah, but the idea is pretty much the same, where someone unfortunately passed away, and I think it's his brother or his family now run like a men's mental health charity, and it's growing like massively, and it's needed. Yeah,
it really is. But not just, I think it's the reasons why it's happening is needed to be tackled a lot, if that makes sense. You know, there's a lot of drugs out there, there's a lot of alcohol, and I think when people are really vulnerable on these substances, if there's mental health involved, that's when these things are happening the most, isn't it?
Yeah,
hence
sure.
dopamine rooms.
Love that. And just going back to that then, so you said you very much always been open like about mental health, so those conversations never changed when you kind of started a.ur.tistic?
I think sometimes you find people can be, in your head you think people are scared of it. You know, I think people have got that perception, like, you know, people are going to think I'm a bit weird, or you know, especially if you use the word autism. You know, I used to have insecurities about that, because there's so many different forms of how that might look for somebody, and they're all gorgeous and they're all equally amazing, by the way, just putting it out there. But I think now I see them all as like superpowers. For me, the word autism and ADHD, and it's like someone's going, you're gorgeous or you're dead clever. I go, no, like, I love it. Do you know, like, I'm excited by it because I know it means I can think outside the box, and I really use it in my way to benefit my business. And I think that's all we need to do, is use our differences as strengths, and that's what separates us, and that's sometimes what can literally move us forward, if you know what I mean. So I think just owning it, and even if it's scary and talking about it, every single person in the world feels down at times, don't they? So
Yeah, no, I love that mindset where you're viewing it as something that's positive and that
yeah.
can help you do X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And obviously you've started a business from that, which is obviously amazing. So you mentioned ASD and ADHD, and this got you in trouble in school.
Yeah.
So kind of the impulsivity
It's got me in trouble in
was
life.
in life as well.
Lifetimes, yeah.
But that impulsivity kind of was misunderstood by teachers and maybe
Yeah.
not explored. As someone who now works in schools, do you think this has changed? Do you think teachers have a better understanding of ADHD and ASD and maybe how them behaviours can manifest in the classroom?
I think it's a lot more spoke about since I was younger, but I will say that I am a teacher and I moved away from actually teaching under one curriculum because I was teaching loads of different classes in the same room. I will say it's really difficult for teachers. There's not enough training at all out there. Like I had to do a 6-week course on autism and ADHD to learn about myself with it, back to back. Still don't know nothing. And obviously I know a lot, I'm a subject matter expert, but how can I do a half-a-day course on something and know about it when it's so complex and every single individual with it is different? So this is one thing about neurodiversity, like the way are you neurotypical? I don't like to say, have you got ADHD, autism, any spectrum disorders? Well, some people are neurotypical and some people are neurodivergent. I'm neurodivergent because I'm on the spectrum. And a lot of people with these, obviously, conditions need to be taught in certain types of ways. Sorry, what was the question again? This is totally ADHD, it's just completely gone.
So do you think the teachers have a better understanding?
Yeah. So how can one half-a-day lesson cover the personalities, the traits of all this box in this category, where neurotypical, the model of the world is neurotypical right now, and there is no, and you aren't expected to kind of be the same as everyone else, if that makes sense. But when you're diagnosed with autism or ADHD, everyone goes, oh, you must have that then, or you must be like that then, or you must be like this then, and you're like, I'm not though. Just because I've got that label doesn't mean I'm the same as everyone else with that label. And there's two types of brain. There's a neurotypical and neurodivergent mind. And not everyone with the neurodivergent mind has got the same personality. Yeah. It's got the same likes, dislikes, same triggers. We might have a set of patterns and, things that, we have in common. Yeah. Like other people do, like eyes and nose or listen. But yeah, I think it's just about understanding that. It's not one size fits all, is it? But going back to the school thing, there's definitely not enough education on autism and ADHD, on how to help, how to change your establishment to be neurodiverse, how to, understand that the senses are really heightened, that you could be triggering someone before they've even walked into the room. And it's no one's fault though. You could put blame on different people, but I mean in terms of teachers, like they're there to try and teach subjects and to educate, and if they don't know about it, how can they do that? So it's just a case of trying to, I go into schools and that, like I think getting more people in with these disabilities and these real life experiences, I think massively closes the gap in itself. So yeah, I think it could definitely improve.
I guess what you're saying is it's difficult for teachers to have an understanding because how differently they can present in different people.
It's two things. Maybe the courses that they're going on to learn about it. I'm not saying every course is bad or good. I don't know. I haven't done them once per se, but if they're not taught by people with neurodiversity, or they're not taught by people who are really close to it, how do even the people know who are teaching it what it's like? Does that make sense? Yeah. I think an element of realness comes out when you actually have got the conditions yourself, where you can look in someone's eyes and go, I know, I get it, or they're having a meltdown and I go, that's because that, I can feel that because that's stressing me out as well. And not because we're all the same, just because there's an element of knowingness, isn't there? But also, how can you, as a teacher, understand Spanish if you're not Spanish, if you've had a half-a-day lesson? How can you then teach your lesson, teach this kid's need, teach that kid's need? We do need a lot more understanding and teaching on it. But I think environmental teaching is a really good one as well, though. Like making the environment more prep for the people. It takes off the battle off,
Yeah, I guess it goes back to that lived experience thing where you don't understand it until you have it.
Or you really study it really closely.
Yeah, and obviously them our lessons that the teachers are doing not enough. Do you think overall, kind of beyond ASD and ADHD, teachers have the skills and knowledge to deal with kind of mental health issues in children and young people across the board?
I think it varies because obviously there's so thousands and thousands and thousands of teachers. I can't just say no or yeah. But I think if we just look at people as a whole, never mind teachers or whatever, there's a mental health crisis going on, and teachers are humans. They've got their own families. They've got their own, they're not sleeping overnight. They've got their own mark on the swamp with work. How they've got all these pressures on them, and then they've got to go in and manage a classroom where there might be like 8 different needs in there that are all completely different. That lesson needs to be tweaked. I think we're not, as teachers, they're not getting enough support as well. And I think we need to look at them as humans a bit more. Obviously, they've got a job and a massive responsibility, and I do believe there's so many good teachers out there, and the majority of teachers are trying the best. But it's more of a educational, maybe a training thing that needs to be done and embodied throughout, where we need more hindsight on how to manage a classroom, and what maybe just the senses as well as important, what type of materials you've got for that child, what's going on in that classroom, what strategies have you got in place for each child. So yeah, I don't think I could just sit here and say it's it's really poor for that teacher or it's not, because I go into thousands of schools and some might be better than others. But globally, I think everyone's trying the best, aren't they? Yeah. But there's not enough resources or knowledge or what to do. It's like throwing me in a Spanish room and going, right, you've had half a lesson. Go and speak to all them Spanish people over there now and tell them, I can't do it. I can pick up the odd word and I'm trying, but I can't understand.
I love that analogy.
It's so true, isn't it?
But yeah, I guess what is the short-term solution then? Because to be educated on mental health takes a long time. And like you say, the resources are not there for teachers. Plus, they've got a curriculum to deliver. So to add on mental health education, they've got their own lives, basically. They haven't got all this time. Would you say that bringing specialists in to schools to work with those children who obviously know what they're talking about and can give teachers maybe tips and maybe some advice on how to work with different young people?
I think there's 2 aspects. So obviously getting educated on mental health is one type of ball game. There's thousands of conditions, there's thousands of, bipolar, ADHD, autism, there's so many labels. I think what could be is teaching kids well-being skills, how to look after yourself early on, how to spot signs, how to regulate emotions, how to understand emotion, how to not go, a child will come home from school and they'll go, I feel sick. But they mightn't go, I've been up all night worrying because my friend's not talking to me, or because they might even understand how they feel, because it feels sick, yourself when you've got anxiety, you feel sick, don't you? And they don't know what that is. So I think all these lessons embedded in the curriculum about how to have a toolbox of, strategies and coping mechanisms to self-soothe, to look after yourself, to know yourself, to be able to ask for what you need and to have confidence in doing that will massively help a mental health crisis that's going on. 100%. It's about teaching people that the answers for curing mental health or whatever aren't outside of yourself. It's your job. And even when you're little, it's okay to feel, but it's not okay to stay there. I can be really, really angry and I can get that out, but I can't be angry for the rest of my life. Or I can't live in depression for the rest of my life. I've got to talk, I've got to understand it, I've got to understand what's going on in my own self. And having, a meditation, or I get kids to squeeze cushions and throw them across the room, and you've probably seen some of my workshops, none of those tables are gone. It's all neurodiverse ways of teaching as well. I think that is a massive thing. I do loads of Q&As in schools where I'll go in and I'll stand there and teachers fireball questions at me, which I really enjoy because I don't know what's coming out my own mouth half of the time, but it's so authentic, and they're like, this child's doing this, what do you reckon? And I mean, I don't always get it right, I'm only one person with the condition, but I do offer loads of tips and strategies, what I would use and what would help me, and that really helps because again, it's all personal, isn't it? This is my experience in the classroom, help. And I think I'm open for bookings for all these. I love going into schools, I love these Q&As. I think they're massively needed, getting people in with the conditions and picking their minds, help, help us understand this for this child. How does this feel when this child's having a meltdown? They're not just sad, They're not just angry, the brain's breaking, it snaps into a million pieces, and like they've got the legs on a radiator, they're getting burnt, all at the same time. And you don't understand that just because, and it could just look like a behavioural thing, but it's not. It's physical pain.
Yeah.
Do you know, it's painful, and you know, the lights are bright, or you know, the studio's close, or sort of whatever. So this is okay for me now. I'm just trying to say that this person might not be okay with that, and I think I'm confident enough to say, can you move that light back a bit for me, type of thing, which I do when I come in, and that's because I know myself, and I know I need these little tiny tweaks to make my life a little bit easier, and I think it's just about confidence, isn't it? Every single thing in the world is about confidence and self-esteem, and it doesn't matter what mental health condition you've got. If you master them, you can cope.
I think it's good that teachers are being curious and kind of exploring the behaviours and asking you all these questions, because we know that behaviour can indicate mental health problems. It can indicate anything, because like you say, when children and young people are suffering, sometimes they don't have the vocabulary to express how they feel. They don't understand it. So if they're feeling sick, they can't make that connection between, oh, I'm really anxious, that's why I feel sick. So
if I was in a classroom and I was a child now, and say that light was too close, was I just throw the glass at it? Get it away from me, without me understanding that that's bothering me. I might just be like, oh, do you know what I mean? Or I'm not doing it, I'm going home, I'm not doing it, I'm gone. And I can't even understand why. And it's just about understanding the self, isn't it? And having that confidence to go, my eyes are hurting me, miss, you know. Because the only way, miss, we could do it like this. Or I do think there's a responsibility in teachers to understand learning styles. And that's one thing I will. And we get taught that as teachers anyway. But to really, really understand that there's a whole new neurodiverse type of learning as well. And that's through dopamine. So I'll get into that in a minute if you want.
Tell us about the dopamine rooms.
So I'm launching a company, and it's literally the very early stages, but it's going to be unreal. And it's called Dopamine Rooms, and this is about, so every single person's got dopamine in the mind. When you're on the spectrum, your dopamine levels are quite low. So you will be more prone to crime, drugs and gambling and, you know, misbehaving because you're getting dopamine. So if that's the way you learn how to do it, that's how you're going to get it. But I'm interested in boosting this in everyone in a really healthy way, through creativity, through learning, through discovery, through being together, through being heard, and not just through art. Like, that's my subject. I'm an artist, but there's thousands of people out there with loads of different crafts, from cooking to bricklaying and I'm just interested in having these spaces with my models, my neurodiverse ways and methods of teaching, and having all these classes going on where people are getting so many dopamine boosts in a really healthy way, because it'll get people off drugs. It'll literally make people feel happier. And it doesn't have to be for neurodiverse people, it's for anyone. It doesn't have to be people with mental health. We all like dopamine, we all want to feel happy, like, who doesn't, do you know? And it's just about knowing, like, I have to get up in the morning and think, right, okay, you need to go to the gym today. Or you need to, I learn a new fact every day, I learn a new thing, I have to learn a fact, like, something daft. Like my mate said, like, I think 60% of the brain's fat, or something, I learned that, you know, so that's dopamine. And it's about just giving yourself these little hits all the time and learning about it. But I think if teachers know this in a classroom, we can start to provide dopamine filling lessons with like colours and ball games and different ways of learning and excitement and you know, literally playing games and, you know, using obstacles and things and obstacles, using things around you to, you know, make someone's dopamine spike a bit, therefore they're going to learn more and they're going to be able to concentrate more. Think about it, if I've got no dopamine, like none, and there's bills in front of me, I'm not paying them because there's nothing in it for me. I'm starving for I'm starving for happiness. So if I'm in a relationship with someone, I'm going to cause a fight because I need it, and then I'll probably be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. And then go and pay me bills. But it's about knowing it about yourself. And I want to educate people on it so much because if you don't know it, you're just living on it and you're like in the shadow of it and it's controlling you. And I'm still learning about this, for what it means for me, because, you know, we all press that self-destruct button sometimes, don't we? Put a bit of ADHD in there, it's like, but I think that life experience and that knowing that I need an argument now because our dopamine levels are low, rather than have an argument, my partner might go, we're going for a walk, get up, get your shoes on, we're going out, don't care, get dressed, and I'm like, get out, go for a walk, and then it's rising as I'm walking, and then it's gone down and there's no argument. It's these little techniques in the school there as well. That child's got no dopamine.
I think making those connections, especially from a young age, if you're working with children, if they can make them connections at a young age, they can have such a better life, because
we all can.
Yeah.
Every single human being is like not like, if you're having a down day, a bit of dopamine will help you out, won't it? Of course it will. It's a happy hormone.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to make us feel better. And in schools, like, if the kids like, I'm not doing that, if we can increase that, if we know that if kids are on a spectrum or they're struggling, the dopamine's naturally lower. Sitting in a black and white classroom with the board going on and there's nothing on the walls.
Doing nothing for it.
I can't breathe in there because my legs are going and I'm shaking and I need something to do, and I'm going to throw that glass light. My brain's like, throw it. Like, and it doesn't stop till I throw it. Yeah. And then I'm getting sent out, because when I get sent out, my dopamine's spiking. I'm getting told off. So I'm going to keep doing that behaviour. Yeah,
and I guess that's why there can't be like a blanket approach to challenging behaviour, and why it needs to be explored, because there's massive consequences to just, you know, removing someone from education, whether it's temporarily or, you know, permanently. You know, academic achievement, earning potential, further education access. If you are removing them for that, and actually the challenging behaviour can be overcome, or like you say, if you just understand them a little bit more, this can all be avoided.
Do you know what? You'd have a better lesson as well. Like, you'd have a better time teaching fun classes, because I always think as a teacher I won't teach something unless I enjoy teaching it. Because no one's going to enjoy learning it if I'm not like bouncing around like, let's do this. I get the kids singing, jumping up, doing like all kinds. But that's because for 5 minutes I'm bored, whatever they're doing. I'm like, come on, let's get up. Do you get what I mean? Or even the opposite. It's not just all about like movement, it's about meditation as well. It's about calming down and creating spaces where kids can process emotion. But yeah, no, definitely, I think it can help everyone, and it's going to be the best, and I want everyone to get involved, so message me. It's just going to be so good.
You'll have to give it a plug at the end.
No, definitely.
So as well as delivering creative wellbeing workshops, you also run men's mental health workshops. Yeah. Tell me about them.
Mental health has got no age, it's got no like gender, it's literally, as I said earlier, they can come for you, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, it doesn't care. You could have the nicest life in the world on paper, but you could just feel bad, and that's okay. It's okay. And you could have had the most traumatic life, and then you could have hardly nothing but fall over and bang your toe, and it could feel like the worst thing in the world, but that's still okay. And I think that's what, like, you can drown in 8 meters of water, I can drown in one, still drowning, do you know what I mean? Yeah. I think for me, I'm a woman obviously teaching men's mental health courses, and that's the first thing I say is like, it doesn't matter that I'm like a woman or a lady, it doesn't matter, it matters about my story. My story's a real one, it's a real one, and my realness of owning that, sharing it with you, will change your life, because I've been through so much in my life that I can look at you and totally understand how you feel. I know what it feels like to not want to be here no more, so I know how to help myself. I love my life now. Like, I absolutely love life. I am so grateful that I'm here and I'm alive and I'm happy, but I did not think I'd ever reach this place. And I can look at people and honestly say that with my hand on my heart. It's nice as well to teach men, because obviously I'm passionate about allocating the space for them. Yeah. But Macho Man Magic is about looking inwards, and it's about, you know, learning about our behaviours and the pressures that, you know, we might carry, especially men, but it's about giving them space. I wouldn't say the course is massively different from like the women's one that I run. Yeah. I might concentrate more on specific topics if they arise in the room, but I do that anyway. Yeah. I think it's about allocating space and making it more normal for, you know, men to talk and for men to feel and to be okay with that, and to mean it that it's strong, because it takes a lot more courage to tell somebody that you're struggling. It's easier to sit there and bottle it up. Yeah. I constantly say this. So what requires more strength? To sit there and go, oh my God, I'm struggling. That requires so much more strength. So that means that you're stronger if you speak. And that's the mindset that I want to break. But Macho Man Magic course is unbelievable. We've had men that wouldn't even leave the room, climbing mountains on their own now. I've had men that, you know, have got on after, you know, trying to, you know, be in similar situations to myself, set up their own groups in the chain, like they're teaching 40 people at a time, and it's just unbelievable to watch, to be honest, and I'm just so proud of it. But as I said, it doesn't matter about me being a woman or not being a woman, or it's literally about my life experience, and it can help so many people when it's in an allocated space. Yeah,
it's about mental health. Yeah. It's not about gender. And one thing you said there is helping them understand themselves and you know, you have a lot of self-awareness. You know, I've listened to loads of your podcast episodes, and you are just very aware of yourself and your behaviours and everything. Where do people start developing that self-awareness?
I think it's fear. I think every time we stop ourselves, there's fear underneath everything. There's fear underneath. I put makeup on today because I'm fearful that I need to look like a certain way. Even though it's not subconscious, I don't think I need to do that for that. Every single person's got an element of fear that's running their life in some type of way.
Yeah.
And I do this because it makes me feel good, whatever, so that's okay. But when it's stopping you from moving forward in your life, it's when you've got to look at it. So for a man, my experience, it's the fear of being weak, the fear of bothering somebody with their problems, the fear of people not looking at them the same, maybe a woman not fancying them the same, or not seeing them as a man, or not seeing them as someone who can protect and provide and care for me. But for me, in my experience, it makes me so much more proud and like attracted even to somebody who opens up like that. I feel like it's such a strength, and I want to celebrate it massively. What was I keep going off the question? Sorry, what was the question? I want to harness it a bit more.
So self-awareness.
Self-awareness comes from fear and understanding what you're scared of in your life. I don't want to do that because I might get judged because of that, or I can't do that because I walk into a room and someone sees me doing that, and it's all that. And once we start looking at them, we can start looking at it. And when you're bothered by something, and this is a massive trick, if someone called me ugly, I don't think I'm ugly, I don't. So I'm like, whatever. But if someone might comment on my weight, because it's something I've struggled with in my life, it might bother me. So that's a key for me to know, as self-awareness goes. That bothers me. It's something I believe about myself. If it bothers you, you believe it. If it bothers you, you believe it. So that's where the work, I don't like saying the work because there's nothing to do, there's so much like the work, but that's where you start. If something's triggering you and bothering you, that's where you begin. And if you really look at it, then you'll know, and you'll go inside and go, that's my job to understand that, to not believe it no more, to change my belief system in a way, to therefore not be triggered by these things, because they could call me a million different things or say a million different things, and I'd only be triggered by certain ones.
Yeah, if you do that, make that connection though, how would you start? So if we think of practices like journaling and stuff like that, is there anything that you would recommend for someone to say, this is a great starting point?
I think talking. I think, going to speak to somebody. Like, I think we're not like vocalising that enough. People think they use a counsellor as a last resort. They use a talking therapy as a very last resort. Like their house is on fire and they fell out with their girlfriend or the boyfriend, and the partner, and everything's gone like upside down. I think getting in there when it's naggly and speaking starts to give you space in your mind when you're not in trauma to be able to understand the why. And understanding the why is massively it's growth, isn't it? And but I think taking responsibility as well. I think don't stop giving your power away. I used to go to the doctors and cry every day and be like, I need more tablets, I need more this, I need more that, and they'd throw them at me, and I'd only be a child as well. I was on 80 milligrams of Prozac at one point, which is horrendous. I don't take it on no more. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just proud of myself. And I was giving my power away, like, fix me, you fix me, it's your job. Like, I'm coming to you, even if I'm coming to you with my problems, fix me. But there's an element of looking at you in that. Why am I triggered by these things? What's going on for me? Why am I feeling like this? How do I feel about myself? I think one of the best things you can do is move in your body more. You're rising your dopamine, even if it's a walk. I mean, I'm not a big gym fanatic, clearly I love food so much, but I think I have to move in some way, in some capacity, even if I don't want to, like a medicine. That's going to raise your dopamine levels up, so then you can start to have a healthier mindset to look at your problems in your life. Speaking, I think, talk to people. Even if people don't want to listen to what you've got to say, they're not your people. They mightn't be bad people, they mightn't just understand, but they will be someone, and find someone who's like you. Like, I might have to find someone who's got ADHD and autism to go, I can't cope with this. One of my really good friends, I went to her the other day, and I went to her with an issue that I couldn't go to all my other friends with, because I was like, I just feel too much, I feel things too much, and people are like, what do you mean? But she went, I know, I do as well, but it's a good thing, because when you really feel good, you feel really good, so hold on, because the good ones are coming. But I needed it to go, I know. And I'm not frustrated then, because I found her to talk about that with. But I do think talking more and moving more, I know it's like cliche and basic, but it is our job as well to stop blaming everyone else.
It is the basics, though, them foundations. So in the last episode, we actually spoke about like things we might do for our mental health to kind of feel better. And it was getting some daylight, physical activity. It might be eating right for someone, going to the gym for a run, whatever it might be. And it reminds me so much when you talk about getting your dopamine. I've heard you say before, like, what is your dopamine? You ask people that.
Yeah, what is your dopamine?
Why do you ask people that?
There was a podcast not long ago with a singer, and I asked her, and she was like this. And I think if you can introduce your dopamine, whatever it is for you, into your life, you're going to be happy, aren't you? So it's about finding what you're good at and what you enjoy together. But it's about understanding as well, when someone's praised, you get dopamine. So if I'm a child and I'm being naughty, I don't like that word, but challenging, and you're telling me off, I'm still getting dopamine. Like, so I'm still gonna. But if you just for that minute, I'm not saying ignore bad behaviours, but if you could pick your battle, and you could go wow, like, and really blow something up in a really positive way, they're getting dopamine from that. So their behaviour will start to move.
Celebrate or praise something. Is that what you mean? Yeah.
The behaviour, we need it, so the behaviour will move into that. My dopamine is, I'm an artist. It's people. It's being seen for the right reasons. It's being acknowledged. My dopamine is, like, expressing myself. It's moving. It's laughing. It's being it's helping people. And everyone's got to find what theirs are, and it will make them really happy. I think just write 10 things down that you like, and it could be like eating chocolate. Obviously don't eat loads and loads and loads, but you know, if you need a little dopamine fix, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess that self-awareness helps that though, because if you can start to understand yourself more, and then understand what makes you feel good, make that connection, then make it a part of your life every day.
I think it's understanding others as well. So if my partner who's going to end up with me, God love them, they're going to understand, but they're very lucky obviously, but they're going to understand that at the times my dopamine level's going to be low. So I might not be acting on a hormone that is stable at that second because it's low. It's really low. And if my partner understands that, they're like, so much easier, isn't it? Okay, let's do something, or what does she like, and then it's easier for everyone, then, isn't it? And it's also taken off that pressure as well of, they don't like me, why are they treating me like this, what's going on, like, and making it about you, because it's not about you, it's the dopamine's low. It's not about you at all, you're amazing, the dopamine's just low. As soon as that's high again, they love you again, do you know what I mean? And it's just about, it closes the gaps, doesn't it, from relationships, even with your family, with your, getting on better with your friends. When you understand you more, you can teach the world how to understand you more. And
that's literally what I was thinking as you were saying that. I think you'll be fine because you have such a good understanding of yourself, and you're confident enough to communicate it. So
it's a job and not off, but
but then them issues in a relationship are already gone because they understand. She needs dopamine. Let's go for a walk. Yeah,
let's do this. But it helps in everyone, because everyone's got dopamine and everyone's got it at different levels. Obviously, mine is a bit lower most of the time, so I have to work hard to get it quite, stable. By this, like, so I always laugh. Someone puts the kettle on and might feel like they're on cloud 9, in the morning, because their dopamine's like regular. But I have to do climb my vomit and have 10 million good things happening for it to reach that level of them putting the kettle on. But it's just understanding that, isn't it? Because it gives you a break as well. But yeah, I think it is all, self-awareness is everything, isn't it? But the main thing is understanding that you've got a job to look after you, and to not be like, you need to change or everything in your life to suit me, because that's powerless, because no one can do that. No one can do that for you, only you.
Yeah.
So I think that's the key thing.
Yeah, it's an inside job.
It is an inside job. Watch the podcast. Listen to it and stuff.
Where can they find the podcast?
It's on my link on my Instagram. Yeah.
It's on Spotify as well.
Yeah, right? On Spotify. Yeah, also on Spotify. Jordan knows more than me about my own podcast. I haven't done one for a while, but I will.
I think you should get back to it.
I do. I do as well.
Yeah. But one thing you said was you're not just going to do it for the sake of it, which I loved, because if you've got something to speak about and you feel it, do it. Yeah. But if you don't, you're not going to force it, basically.
That's it. I think for me, I can't help but be myself, and it's a curse and a blessing at the same time. Well, I wouldn't say it's a curse, but it's like I just speak and I just am me. So I don't understand when people aren't like that. If anyone's got another side to themselves, or in the past I've been in really bad relationships because they might have shown me one aspect of themselves, and I just thought that was them because I'm like that, but it's not always the case. But yeah, so I think on that podcast particularly, I only want to go on there when I've got something to say, or when something's bothering me, or I feel like, you know, there's a topic that I could really run with in that. I think the autism and parents thing is something I might do something on next.
Yeah, I think you should, because I assume you get a lot of questions.
Yeah, loads.
DMs, messages.
Yeah, I do.
Of people kind of trying to understand the children and the behaviour.
And themselves. And as I said, it's not just neurodivergency I look at, it's everyone. Like, we're all people, we all feel, we're all up and down. And one thing I massively want to stress on this as well is the term mental health isn't bad. We use it so negative. We go, like, oh, this is about mental health, and what? Do you know what I mean? Like, mental health, everyone's got one. Everyone's got a physical health and everyone's got a mental health. Everyone. Every single person. And I was scared to talk about it because it's got a negative connotation. It's on my face. Mental health is a measurement of how you feel and what's going on internally in your emotions, and that's all it is. So you could talk about mental health with the most happiest, fulfilled, calm, peaceful person, because their mental health is feeling like that. Man might be in turmoil and feeling a bit down. Man might be in between, but it's not a negative thing. It's just a measurement of how we're feeling in that minute.
I remember you saying that when, obviously, that day that I met you, that was one of the things you said. Everyone's got physical health, everyone's got mental health, and like you say, it comes with so many negative connotations.
There's so many break the stigma, mental health, which obviously we need to do. But how are we doing it when we're talking about it in a negative content? When we're saying, oh, this is about mental health, and then all the negative stuff that comes from one side of mental health, do you know what I mean? Which obviously we need to be aware of that because it is there. But to break that stigma, we need to understand that we've all got one. And you could come to me and go, I'm feeling really good today, or my mental health's in a really good place. Woo, is right, boss. The next day, it's not in the best place. Okay, sounds, what are we going to do with that? But just talking about mental health in general is breaking the stigma, if it's good or bad.
I guess a lot of the break the stigma stuff that I see anyway is about men, and they don't speak about mental health, which is a generalisation, but I can only speak about the male experience. And men don't speak enough about mental health, and the statistics show that. So I just want to read some stats out. In England and Wales alone in 2022, there was a total of 5,642 suicides, with males accounting for around 74% of these cases. That is like a massive disproportionality of suicide rates between men and women. From going back to kind of the men's mental health workshops you deliver, from your experience, what are some of these barriers that are preventing men from speaking out, and how do we overcome them?
Do you know what, I this was this morning I realised this one, right? I've never spoken about it before, so I'm just going to throw it out there. It mightn't even be right, but it's just something I've understood from having a close relationship with a male friend recently. The difference between the two friendship groups is that a man, so say like I had a date tonight, or say like I had a plan with my male friend tonight, we were going to pictures or something, just friendly, and I had plans with my female friend. I've noticed lad groups, if something pops up, they just can just cancel on each other, and it's quite chilled and easy, and it's like not a big deal, and but it does hurt, doesn't it? If your mate just goes, oh, see you later, I'm going out with a girl tonight, don't want to hang around with you tonight now, see ya. Where a girl will go, what? You really doing that for a man? For me? Like, that's just in my experience what I've noticed. And I was thinking about it just logically the other day, just in my own little mind, just really thinking about it, thinking if that added up over my lifetime, I'd feel really isolated, alone, like that no one really cared about me, that no one really valued me because if something else come along, see you later. But it's easy breezy because it suits me when I'm having a good time, but I think that's one of the differences, and there's no statistics. I've literally only just thought of that recently, but I thought that's why when I am having a problem or when there's something going on, I'm creating them stronger friendships with my female girl mates, because we've got this underlying loyalty to each other where you're not just going to plan a date on the same day we've got plans, you're going to plan it for tomorrow. And then that's underlined, there's like another level of a little bit of loyalty there. So therefore, I've got a bit more trust. so I can go and open up and talk to you about things that are going on a bit more. Because I'm just trying to think scientifically why we're so different. And this is just my experience and seeing the difference in friendships from males and females, just totally mine. I don't know if you can relate. Is that okay for you if your mates got plans with you and then all of a sudden you want to take a girl out?
I'd like to think that they wouldn't.
But it's still kind of...
But what I would say is, when we make plans, they are very relaxed. Unless it's something big like we're going on holiday.
Yeah.
Plans are generally more relaxed. So if they said, I can't make it, we might make a little comment, but it flies under the radar.
Do you ever feel a bit disappointed by it?
Yeah, for sure.
And but you're not doing nothing with that emotion, because it's seen as, we're relaxed and we're having a good time and we're chilled and we're not allowed. My experience, I'm not clarifying all women, I'd be like, that's not okay. Why would you just... We've had this planned all week and then all of a sudden the boys come along? No. But in society I'm allowed to vocalise that, aren't I? Without being weak. You know, I'm allowed to say that, like, that's kind of seen as okay, that you've got a purpose and a point. That is the smallest thing I've noticed, but it's so recent and I really wanted to stress that. Because I think making the effort to say this, as lads maybe saying, like, do you know what, it bothered me, you know, that you didn't come that. I know it might sound like it doesn't, but it did bother me because I was really looking forward to going, you know. One, it's going to release it for you, and two, next time we make plans, can we proper stick to them, lads, that I really want to go, or... It reduces your anxiety as well. You know what you're doing with your day. You know if you're going or if you're not. You know, like, there's a lot, and I think it creates a stronger bond though when you talk, and that's what you need. We need stronger bonds, don't we? So we can actually express our emotions. And I think that's just the smallest thing, and it literally comes to me in the last 24 hours. It's just something I was literally thinking about. But it does create connection in different forms, which would definitely lead to stronger mental health. And I think that's the difference between men and women. We kind of speak our minds and it's socially accepted more when things bother us. But maybe we can learn more and have more workshops and stuff on how to do this without causing conflict. Because a man will reach a point, in my experience, again, I'm not categorising all men, where they just flip. And it's or they're okay or they're like, wah, because they bottled stuff up for so long. Yeah. And if you've got a coping mechanism, which is maybe explain but don't blame, that's one thing I like to say. You know, to go, you're a divvy, why did you do that? Like, straight away the person's not listening, they're like, go away. But if you go, I know you wouldn't have meant to do it, but, you know, it felt like this for me, you know. You know, it felt like that for me. You're not blaming them, you're not putting it on them, you're just saying what you felt. Yeah. I think that's a really good technique to have.
Yeah, and I think what you said there is, like, men seem to be more comfortable expressing more anger. Masculine emotions or feelings like anger and rage, whereas that's almost like a build-up of other emotions that they've not kind of expressed. So do you think when you are delivering the workshops, there's kind of common themes where there's reasons that men are not seeking help?
I think in our society, I'll talk about people, because, you know, so I'm not just categorising like just men or whatever. In our society, we're very ego-based. Every human is, even everyone is. We've all got an ego, and that's what keeps you safe. So, you know, we need that as well. But it's a lot about what people think about us. And we kind of get in our heads and we kind of make assumptions of what others think, but we can't do that. So, you know, if I was like 5 minutes late today, you might think in your mind, she takes the piss, she doesn't care, you know, she's not professional, you know. You might build up this picture of what you think I'm thinking, or she must think I'm a divvy coming in here late. She must think I'm... And that might not be the case at all. So it's about like asking yourself, like, what am I thinking, and is it true? Is it true, or am I just thinking this thing because it's matching with a feeling that I've already got? And again, I remember teaching a man, and he was struggling with his anger, and I'm laughing because it's not funny, but it was. He said that he was pure road rage. He couldn't cope with people, and he had all apples in his car, and he'd just get the apples and throw them out the window, and it's not funny. But it is a little bit. And I said, well, when you're about to throw the apple, like, what are you thinking? And he's like, they're taking the piss. And I could see it when he was telling me. He was like, ah. I went, but imagine if they weren't. Imagine if, like, you just was having a really bad day and you needed to get to that place. Or imagine if they just... And you're throwing this apple at the car because in your head it means that about you. So what does it mean about you? That they think that. And I said, well, do you think that? Well, probably a little bit. And that's where it comes from. Yeah. It's your own self-esteem, isn't it? It's your own belief about yourself. of why you're getting to that and why you're making that big.
Yeah, it's like personalising other people's actions and making it about you when actually it's not.
Sometimes people are divvies, sometimes there's really not nice people out there, there really is, and that's okay as well. But again, with that, I look at it like, you could look at it like you're a nasty person and you want me to feel like that, and I could rise to you in an angry way. We're all guilty of it. Someone, and I'm not like an angel, or, you know, I'm like, I'm allowed to swear on this.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck off, or whatever. Like, we all are. We're all like that. But if you're trying to, if I'm more self-aware and I think to myself, right, you're trying to make me feel sad, so you must be sad. Like,
projection.
Wow. Then it's like, it's a game changer, isn't it? If you want me to feel that bad, if you're behaving like that, if you're that much, then you feel like that. So, wow. And then I start to feel sorry for them, even though they're being audible. But not in a way where I'll go, oh, just like, wow. Or I'll go to people, wow, you must be really sad. You know, it makes them angry. Yeah. But you don't give them what they need. They almost, like an energy vampire, needs to steal your power. They need to like suck it off you. And people, especially with ADHD and that, we're more prone to that because we're quite vulnerable. So yeah, I think I'll probably go off track with the question, sorry, a lot, but I just talk about whatever comes up in my head.
No, don't apologise.
I think there obviously is a massive stigma, and I'm really, really passionate about man's mental health from my own experiences as well. I read there's 1 in every hour in this country, but someone dies through male through suicide. I don't know how true it is right now, but that's what I've read in the past. I think we do need to talk, and I think another massive tool is strong men like you. Strong, gorgeous men, clever men, talented men who other men look up to, coming out and going, I'm having a bad day, I'm sad, I feel crap, I've got anxiety. You inspire the next person, and I believe with all my soul that's what I do for people. I believe by me doing it, not making it cool, but by me going, I'm autistic, it's fine, got ADHD, it's fine. And you know, sometimes I've got really bad anxiety, and I used to feel like this, I've got this. People go, oh my God, do I? Me too. And that in itself is powerful. So if you want to make a change just by owning how you feel, and being brave enough to just go, I feel like that, is massive. So you talking about this now, if you talk about your feelings, there's going to be 1,500 men are listening to this or whatever who go, me as well.
Yeah, well, we've actually had a bit of feedback from the first episode, and we've realised that
amazing,
some invisible impact out there that obviously otherwise we wouldn't actually see. So I love to hear all that feedback. But I think you're right, when people like yourself, like this inspired my podcast. It got it moving, like, because I want to do similar work. So when I see people in these spaces doing this work that I'm passionate about, I'm like, I love it. Let's
collaborate.
Yeah, let's collaborate.
Dopamineroom's slogan is the home of creative collaboration, because I'm realising in the work I do, so many people are seeing, and you know, they're crafting that, and they're like, oh, and keeping hold of it, which is fine. Like, and you know, I've handwritten my own courses, the mine, and I want to do that. But equally, everyone's struggling, like, and we've all got a talent, and we've all got something that we're good at. And if I stay in my artistic lane, see what I've done there, artistic lane.
Love it.
If I stay in my lane with my creativity and that, teach them what I'm good at, and then inspire someone who's got a completely different craft, even like yourself, to come in and do something with that, and we can all work together. We're all going to heal in such a good way. Einstein said creativity is the key for depression. Do you know? I believe that with all my heart. Creativity is everywhere. It's not just drawing and painting. It's having an idea. It's starting a podcast.
Yeah. Well, that was what the first episode was about, creativity and mental health. So
amazing! I didn't even know that. We're flowing.
If you want to see yourself getting shouted out, defo have a watch.
Oh, well, definitely, 100%.
One thing you said then was like, when you see, for example, another guy speaking out about mental health, you might think, oh, I relate to that. I feel that too. In recent years, there's been loads of celebrities, male celebrities speaking out about mental health. You know, Tyson Fury, Dele Alli, Jesse Lingard, so many more celebrities. What is the impact of them speaking out and using their platform to speak about mental health?
I think I'm just going to look at Tyson Fury. When he talks and he says himself, even when he's not his best self, he's still himself, isn't he? You know, if you see him and he's having a bad day and he's like, that's so relatable, and so people love that because no one's a robot. We've all got two selves, whether you're depressed or you've got bad mental health or not. And we always hide our shadow. You know, you'd only share it with your very, very closest people when you go, can't bear that cat, or you wouldn't say that to someone you just met because you'd be scared in case someone judged you or you thought, oh, you're a horrible person. But we need to stop bringing these parts of ourselves forward. Tyson Fury has lost his fear of his mental health completely. Like me, we've lost it. We've been to these dark places, we've lost the fear, there's nothing left. When you lose the fear, you become free. When I lose the fear of what other people are going to say about me, and I go, I sometimes really badly struggle with depression. I'm not depressed because it comes and goes. I don't want to identify with it. When it's there, it comes and I can openly talk about it. I'm autistic. That means that I'm an absolute genius and I'm amazing. I've got ADHD. That means I'm so creative and I think outside the box. 100 miles an hour. Love it. Who's going to judge me on that?
If you own it.
Who's going to judge me on it? Come at me like I don't care. I'm not bothered. Other people are going to do it. And I think it's about just being free within yourself. So what if you feel down right now? Talk about it, it's okay. Everyone else feels like that at some point in their life as well. And losing the fear, these celebrities have lost the fear, and it is impactful because it makes other people less afraid. Tyson Fury, I really, really rate him because he makes people less afraid of feeling the way he does. And it is a really important thing if you have got a platform to almost show your bad sides as well. When I say bad sides, I mean, you know, everyone has spots. On social media, everyone's perfect, aren't they? You know, on my social media sometimes, I don't know if you ever scroll through it on Instagram, like, I'll be like that. I went like literally like spots on my face and like my belly out, and I'm like, I'm not skinny today, guys, you know, like, not that you have to be skinny to be beautiful, but what I'm saying is I try and show myself when I'm just not anatomically pretty, or I'm having a really bad day. I used to do a vlog, mental health diaries, where I cry my eyes out and video panic attacks and show them online, because I think it's so important to see these other sides to ourselves. You know, we've all got them, and that's what celebrities do, and that's when it's done well, isn't it? It doesn't work when you're sitting there with your Rolex on and your beautiful face and you're like, the perfect life on paper, even though it's not perfect because no one's life's perfect, and you're like, my mental health is so bad. You need to feel emotion.
Yeah, for sure. And that can impact people's mental health itself. Like when you talk about social media, it's basically the highlights of everyone's life, like all the good parts.
Yeah.
We hide all the shit parts, basically.
Yeah. Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. And when people start comparing themselves and they go, oh, he's on holiday every week, she's got a Rolex, they're living the best life constantly, we think, our lives are shit.
We do. We compare ourselves. Even me, we all do it. And like, I was talking to a young girl who wants to be involved in this type of business. She's only 17. And we were having this conversation the other day, and she's like, I've got so much I need to do, and I don't need to stop, and I want to be like, I want to do things like you, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'm like, I haven't got it all figured out. Like, I don't know what I'm doing half the time, and I'm winging it, and like, everyone is. And I just wanted to normalise that, like, no one's got it all figured out. No one. And we've got to like understand that. And I think by seeing celebrities do that, it does end the stigma a bit, but it does end that, doesn't it? It makes us feel a bit more human.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that might be a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think we could talk all day about this.
I just go.
And as I listened to more of your podcast, I'm more excited I was to have you on. But you cover so much that I was like, I think we need a part 2 in the future. Otherwise,
we could do like specific topics as well, like on certain things.
I think that would definitely be helpful. Yeah. Obviously today was just about mental health, and obviously talking about your own business. But thank you again.
Can I do like a where to find me bit?
Yeah, of course. This is that part. So where can people find you? So
my Instagram is a.ur.tistic. I don't think I just put my email address on, or shall I? But it's a.ur.tistic.courses @gmail.com. I am launching Dopamine Rooms hopefully the end of this month, the beginning of the next. All the details will be on that Instagram. So yeah, come and hang it out. But obviously there's a what's happening? I'll take that bit out. There's a Inside Job podcast, and the link's on Instagram, but it's on Spotify. Inside Job by a.ur.tistic, that's called, isn't it? So find me there.
All of them links I will put in the description. So the social medias, the podcast, the Spotify, the Dopamine Rooms. So just click the links in the description and you can go straight to Sarah's pages.
Yeah.
If people want to book you, is that through your website?
Totally ADHD. My websites are just getting set up properly. I've been training for 2 years, I'm hilarious, aren't I? Because Dopamine Rooms forced me to go, okay, we're having 2 boss websites now, and they're literally going through, and they're not like your typical website, as you don't know me, but not what I do is very like standard. So they're going to be out really soon. No, just invest me on Instagram, email me, probably the best way. I'll put that link in there. I do so much with schools, with groups, I can go into businesses, establishments. Literally, I can mould any model to what I teach. But I am doing a lot of Q&As, coffee mornings recently with parents as well. If anyone wants to come along, it's not just for people with children on the spectrum. It could be for teachers. It's behavioural. It's, you're not on your own. Come and have a cuppa with us. I think so. Come down to one of them. Meet me as well. I do loads of talks. So yeah.
Just does it all. Thank you.
ADHD, it's a gift. No, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the Value Exchange podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as me and gained some valuable insights along the way. Be sure to stay connected by clicking that subscribe button and join the community, redefining the dialogue. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and don't miss out. Follow us on socials and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. Take care, and we'll catch you in the next episode of the Value Exchange podcast.